Occupy Oakland is getting notoriety for a lot of different reasons. Of course, there was the police attack and the tear gas that they fired at people, including an Iraq veteran who wound up having a fractured skull and was in the hospital. They fired rubber bullets. They fired bean bags. And it seemed like it was a little out of the blue initially. And then there was the general strike that was called last week. And then there was the gigantic protest march in Oakland that shut down the port. As part of that general strike, we've told you about that on the show. We were there on the ground. We videotaped the crowds. Some press reports were comically saying the crowd was between 3,000 and 10,000. That crowd was at least 50,000 people. It was miles and miles of people. I was literally have never been in a bigger crowd in my life, and that includes football games that have had 40, 50, 60,000 people at them. So Occupy Oakland obviously is gaining a lot of momentum. And after that day where there was the general strike, and by the way, afterwards, and that was all peaceful, 100% peaceful, but afterwards, some anarchists in Oakland, which are greatly opposed by a great majority of the Occupy Oakland movement, went into a building, and then they wound up lighting some fires outside, and the cops came in and cleaned them out. That's understandable. But then the cops come in the next day, and Scott Campbell is a guy who's participating in Occupy Oakland, and he's taping them. Now, we're going to show you the tape, and you're going to see in the beginning here, or you're going to hear Scott Campbell saying, "Is this okay?" Because the cops had told him to move back a certain amount of space, and he had, and you'll see it on the tape. And then there's a different guy who's antagonizing the cops a little bit. You'll hear him as well. And at the end, something shocking happens. Watch.
Is this okay? Is this okay?
March all over this, I dare you! March all over it! Every single put your fist on this! 99%! You can shot me in the face! Still 99%! And you're listening to your fucking phone! Ow! 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 You're like fucking frogs! He shot me!
They shot him. They shot him with a rubber bullet. Thank God it wasn't a live bullet, I guess. But they shot him, and that's Scott Campbell, and he has told his story now and just released this video, and it definitely did damage. And as you saw on the tape, no provocation. And he wasn't the guy saying, "Oh, I dare you, do it," etc. He was the guy saying, "Okay, I'm backing away. Is this okay? Have I gotten to a right enough space?" And one of the cops just flat out shot him. It's unbelievable. I mean, I guess it's Oakland, but look, I was in that crowd. I talked to a lot of people, right? The day before that shooting happened. And there is great antagonism towards the cops. And to the point, I have to be honest with you, where it made me uncomfortable. Some of the organizers are like, "Look, we're not like the other Occupy movements. We're not interested in cooperating with the cops. We think the cops are the bad guys." And I was like, whoa, really? Because that is definitely not what I've heard at Occupy Wall Street in Zuccotti Park. In Cleveland, the cops worked together with the Occupy movement to defeat the bill that was proposed by the Republicans. That just happened yesterday, right? And the cops realized, oh my God, these Occupy guys can help us with our collective bargaining. So there's been great cooperation in other places. In Albany, the cops refused to carry out an order by the mayor and the governor to clear out Occupy Albany. They're like, they're not breaking any laws and we're not going to listen to you. But in Oakland, there's definitely antagonism. But when I saw that video, I began to understand why the guys at Occupy Oakland are so antagonistic toward the cops, because stuff like this happens. Now, look, maybe it's a vicious cycle and it feeds on top of one another, and the cops feel, hey, they're so antagonistic towards us, and hence we're going to lash out. But you can't. You're the cops. You're supposed to protect the peace. You're supposed to be the good guys. You're supposed to protect the citizens. You can't just randomly shoot them because you don't like them. So obviously, it's a terrible outrage, and it doesn't make that relationship in Oakland any better. And you can see how the authorities in Oakland are making the situation much worse, and I hope it doesn't lead to greater conflict. But if it does, it's not just one side causing the violence. Clearly, you see there the cops are the ones that started it in that case.